Mitzi Gaynor, star of 1950s big-screen musicals including South Pacific and Less Girls, and a series of beloved variety specials in the 1970s, died on Thursday. She was 93. Gaynor's management team, Renee Reyes and Shane Rosamonda, confirmed to Variety that she died of natural causes. Francesca Marlene de Chagny von Gerber was born in Chicago. Her mother was a dancer, her father a violinist and cellist. The family moved to Detroit, and then, when she was 11, to Los Angeles so she continued studying dance with the same teacher who had relocated. In 1942, she became a member of the Corps de Ballet at the Los Angeles Civic Light Opera. Gaynor's career could be neatly divided into two central portions: the 1950s, during which she starred in a series of movie musicals, the most famous of which were Les Girls and South Pacific. When she was young, the attractive blonde Gaynor combined innocence and a certain knowing naughtiness. Gaynor made her feature debut in 1950's My Blue Heaven, starring Dan Dailey and Betty Grable. By the next year, she had her first starring role in the musical Golden Girl, in which she played the real-life Civil War-era entertainer Lotta Crabtree. She was part of the ensemble cast of 1952's We're Not Married, along with Marilyn Monroe and Zizi Gabor. The same year, she starred in the musicals Bloodhounds of Broadway, based on stories by Damon Runyon and set among gangsters in the 1920s. Gaynor appeared in the musicals There's No Business Like Show Business, 1954, with Ethel Merman, Donald O'Connor, and Marilyn Monroe, and Anything Goes, 1956, with Bing Crosby and O'Connor. She had a supporting role in the Frank Sinatra vehicle The Joker is Wild in 1957, though significantly. Gaynor was married to agent and producer Jack Bean from 1954 until his death in 2006. Sammy Basso, an advocate for research into progeria, an ultra-rare fatal disease that causes rapid aging in children, who was known for living with gusto and humor with the condition as he faced the certainty of premature death, died on October 5 near his home in Tese sul Brenta, in the Veneto region of northern Italy. He was 28. Mr. Basso, who lived with his parents, was diagnosed with progeria at age 2. He was one of only about 150 people worldwide identified with the condition. He traveled internationally, most recently to China, to raise awareness, gave TED Talks, and participated with scientists from Harvard and the National Institutes of Health in a research group that is seeking a cure. Progeria, also known as Hutchinson-Gilford progeria syndrome, causes children to undergo rapidly accelerated aging. Its effects include baldness, wrinkled skin, hardening of the arteries, and a wizened stature. Mr. Basso was about 4 feet 5 inches tall and weighed about 44 pounds. Sammy Basso was born on December 1, 1995 in Schio, Italy, to Amerigo Basso, a factory worker, and Laura Lucan, who helped run his Progeria Association. His parents are his only immediate survivors. At age 12, Sammy participated in the first clinical trial, at Boston Children's Hospital, of a drug to slow progeria's progression. He graduated from the University of Padua with a degree in natural sciences in 2018, and 3 years later, he earned a master's in molecular biology from the same university. Mr. Basso was a patient, a research subject, and a researcher of his condition. The U.S.-based Progeria Research Foundation is working toward FDA approval for a human trial and hopes to raise an estimated $30 million to make a drug privately, since ultra-rare diseases do not interest commercial drug companies. Rick Nolan, the former DFL congressman who was a champion for the Northland, has died at the age of 80. Nolan, who was born in Brainerd, served 2 stints in Congress decades apart, most recently for the 8th Congressional District between 2013 and 2019. His long political career started when he served as an assistant to then U.S. Senator Walter Mondale, and he was elected to the Minnesota House in 1968, before his time representing Minnesota's 6th Congressional District between 1975 and 1981. He then left politics, working in the sawmill and pallet factory business, as well as the export trading business up north. But he made his return in 2012 when he took back the 8th Congressional District seat from Republican Chip Kravik. He was re-elected twice, squeaking out narrow victories over Republican challenger Stuart Mills in what was at the time one of the most expensive campaigns in the country. He was named a running mate for gubernatorial candidate Lori Swanson, but the pair lost in the 2018 primary. Rick Nolan was a champion for the Northland who fought fiercely to protect working people from corporate interests, said DFL Chairman Ken Martin. From Ely to Duluth, he was an ambassador for the DFL creed that we all do better when we all do better. Our thoughts are with his family and all who came to know and love this dedicated public servant. Congressman Nolan was a champion for northern Minnesota and a fighter for working women and men across our state. A committed public servant who loved the Northland, he was a true Minnesotan. One need look no further than his hot dish competition, where he'd share sap that he harvested, venison that he hunted, and wild rice that he gathered with his own hands. My thoughts are with his wife Mary and all those who had the pleasure of knowing him, said Representative Betty McCollum in a statement.